Hello Twin Force Fusion, and today's video is going to be about the oil you should be using in your car, and it's going to get a bit technical, and just a disclaimer, I'm not a oil engineer, but I'm able to read some numbers and data, and also years and years of usage of type of oil. I'm able to have an opinion on it. Here it's a technical properties from the AMSOIL signature series. You have all of them, the 0W-30 to 550. I'm going to focus more on the 5W-30 and the 0W-30. And the reason I want to stress, a point I want to stress is, a lot of people will say if you use 5W-30, switch to the 0W-30. It's called the IRPM oil. But I'm going to strongly recommend not to do that and stay with the 5W-30 if your engine is a direct injection type of fuel delivery. Now, if you have an older one, the typical injector sprays inside the intake manifold, yeah, sure, go ahead, switch with the 0W-30. But if you are a DI engine, GDI, whatever, a gasoline direct injection fuel, and if your car has 5W-30 as stock, probably a 0W-30 as stock also, I would strongly recommend to go with the 5W-30. And the main reason, a lot of people, why? Because it's all the same. The kinematic viscosity is still the same. At 40 degrees, the same. Whatever. They'll go with the numbers, but the main number you want to go is the NOACK. Okay, the NOACK vitality, the weight loss it does, and this is what really the number you should focus on to not get your intake valves as gum up. There's only 3 ways to prevent that, guys. There's the type of oil you use, the top tier gas fuel you should be using, usually 91 octane, 93, 94, whatever. They're the best one with the detergent they have and all that. And the third one is the catch can. I don't know if there's another name for it, but I'm just going to call it the catch can. These are the 3 ways you could prevent, or at least extending the interval of doing a valve cleaning job. I strongly recommend to do the seafoam, the foam treatment, the whatever you want to call it. There's foam on it you could use once in a while. Don't go crazy. Some will say no. I say yeah, use the half can every 10,000 miles or so, just to help, just before an oil change, by the way. And but the NOACK number is shit what you really. If you look here, it's 6.7 per 100 gram weight loss. If you look at Project Farm, he does a lot of. He weights the oil the before and after. He cooks it for 2 hours. He gives you a good idea what it does. This is a newer, but there's some older tests they did on the NOACK test. This one is already a 6-7 year old test. As you can see, the AMSOIL here, it did improve. It was like a 7.1 back then. Now it's 6.7. And the Pennzoil Ultra, it's also a very good oil. It does very good. It's at 7.05 in this one. And the Redline High Performance, it's at 5.3-ish. The problem with that, it does suffer in another test. So if you want to go see the test, it's actually a very cool test. It's a dependent test. You could find it in the AMSOIL website. But I strongly recommend to look more at the NOACK, and that's what you really want to go. You can see the 1030. I even have less too, but I cannot recommend you use the 1030 unless you're in a very hot climate, maybe like Las Vegas, Nevada, or I don't know. But I would stick with the 5W-30. NOACK is what it is. AMSOIL or not, I'm a big fan of AMSOIL. but I have no issues with the Pennzoil Ultra. Also, it's just it won't last as long. And same thing with the red line, whatever it is, the high performance one. Just you cannot keep that oil forever. You really will have to be very anal retentive with your oil change. I personally, Signature said they're good with if you use their filter or change it more often, the factory filter. They say you're good for about 25,000 miles, which is 40,000 kilometers. As a turbo car, don't, because the cook effect it does on your lines of the turbo lines. First and second, if you have a auto start system on a turbo car, even more. Do not go that far in an interval unless you replace your oil filter every 5,000 miles and top off with new oil. Maybe you could, but avoid cooking your turbos. Use good oil. I personally, I use Signature series 5W-30. I keep them for 10,000 miles, but at 5,000 miles, I switch the filter. I have the factory motorcraft filter. I also have AAVE filters. I do use them because I have them. They're cellulose based, and I found out earlier that AMSOIL makes also a synthetic filter, oil filter for the 2.7 EcoBoost. Do your due diligence, study, take your time. It's cool. There's a lot of studies out there. Try to look for independent. AMSOIL has a lot of independent tests in it. And look, sometimes when it said filters, 99% mobile are good for that. There's a lot of filters, 99% of debris on their first pass with their oil, but it's at 30 micron. AMSOIL will have the same test. It's 98%, but it's at 20 microns. So you look for a little subtleties, technical subtleties. But my main focus on this video, it's the NOACK. Okay, that's what you need to watch for. And every direct injection vehicles out there, low volatility, catch can, good quality fuel, and you should be good for oil. Take care, bye.